Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday show. Just a quick note, we're kind of last minute with the show. That's why we're a minute or two late, so I'm still kind of setting things up. So I know chat's not showing up on the screen. It will shortly. But I want to say hello, everybody, chat, and also my co-host, Terry D.
Hello.
And Genty Maxi. Jen?
Sorry, I was still muted.
Oh, okay. Whew. Like, we lost Jen. Oh, no.
Like, no, I even made this funny hello.
Hello. A couple of things in the show tonight. We're, of course, going to talk about Mr. SpaceX deciding to buy the world, starting with Twitter, one step at a time, Elon. Okay? Take it easy, buddy. I wanted to touch real quick on HB 1557. There was a Twitter rant about it. So we're going to talk about the repercussions. And I'm going to see if we can get the show banned for another week, because I want to talk about something that Paramount hates me talking about, and that's about some of their properties, specifically Star Trek. Because I'm a Trekkie, and it's relevant because it's Star Trek's going back to episodic TV again. So kind of important stuff to talk about. Terry, how you been?
Sorry, I was muted while I was eating.
Yes, I'm going to be muting while I'm eating too. Terry and I both got DoorDash immediately as the show was starting. So that's why chat's not showing up. That's why we're not prepared. It's all my fault.
Also, I'm a bit puffed out because I had to chase the idiot halfway up the street to find him telling where my house is. Other than that, I'm fine.
Jen's good too. She's here.
Give me a chance to say. How you doing, Jen?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just here.
That's way too fast for me tonight.
You know what? I get to sit here and say that because you both have food now and I don't.
Oh,
so
that's why you can talk as much as you want, because I'm still trying to get chat up on the screen while we're talking. So I can do it. It just takes a second because I have to start up another browser, but I was busy closing browsers because I was watching where the DoorDash guy. I don't have chat up on the screen, so I can. Oh, there it is. Hi, Cynic. Hi, Keeverdam, JB, OG Costin. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for for the confusion. So let's get chat up on the screen. Cat 2 properties. Erase that, paste that, say okay. Boink, chat's on the screen. Of course, I should have done that before the show started, but that's okay. We were rushed. It's not my fault. Pop out chat so I can keep track on you guys. See what happens? I put it right over top of the network meter. All right, I think we're good. Show seems to be running. Chat's up. Not bad. Now I get to eat while we talk about the first thing. Hey, Camel. So Elon did it, right? Everyone's like, is he going to buy Twitter? Is he going to buy? Yeah, he's going to buy the highest single share stock in the company. He is at 9.2%, beating everybody. There are people who had higher stock than Dorsey did, but
he's only like 2% now.
He's only 2.3, 2.5%. There were other people. Someone else had like 8.4% or something like that. And Elon said
BlackRock or Vanguard, one of those big sort of finance companies.
Yeah,
has like massive shares in Twitter as well.
And Elon didn't buy it as Tesla. He didn't buy it as SpaceX or the Boring Company. He bought it as Elon. This is not a corporation. This is me doing this. So it was extra balls. Yeah, and then was his name Prakash? I don't know what his name is. What is his name? I do not know. Whatever his name is. I'm making fun of his voice. I don't even know if that's how he speaks. He probably doesn't. I'm just stereotyping. Piss off all the lefties who are going to watch this later. He invited him to the board. I don't know if Elon went in there with a gun and said, invite me or I'll blow your head off. I don't know what happened. But I guess he sent him a note and said, "Hey, I got money. Can I be on the board?" And whatever his name is, Prakash, whatever his name is.
I think it's Pagara or something like that. It's very.
I think we're
very
both wrong. I have no idea. I don't care. Who cares?
No,
He's not.
that's true.
He's not in charge anymore. No, he's still in charge. He's still the CEO.
Yeah, he's still the CEO.
For now, and Elon can't buy more than 14.1 stock total. So that was part of his limitation for being on the board, is he couldn't buy more than 14%. So I assume the first thing Elon's going to do is buy the additional 14%, just so he can get up to the max. And then as time goes by, he'll just keep buying it until he owns 50%.
I was closer. I looked it up. I was closer.
Congratulations. What's his name?
Parag Agrawal.
You know, the American me is saying, you can't pronounce someone's name. They're not allowed to be in charge of an American company. The noise you're hearing in the background is me opening up my bag of Wendy's food. So I'm going to try not to munch in anybody's ear, because that stuff really bothers me. Are you one of those people who can't stand mouth noises?
Depends on what you're eating. Like, I can handle some stuff, but I think the worst thing I've ever encountered was the ramen eaters. I like ramen, just not hearing.
The slurping?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but yeah.
I think it depends. Like, if I'm visiting family and we're all sitting around the dinner table eating, then there's going to be like eating sounds that everybody can hear, and that's fine. But if I'm watching YouTube, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. There was a video the other night that I was watching where the guy is like, so I was like, no, I'm out of here, immediately out of here. I can't watch the ASMR stuff when it comes to like food ASMR. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, if they're scratching the microphone kind of thing, I can, you know, all right, doesn't do anything for me, but whatever, you know, it doesn't bother me. But when they get to the mouth sounds, there's actually a medical term for that too. That you can't handle that. There are people who just...
No, I really don't like it.
I don't like it.
I mean, I listen to ASMR, just sort of like, it makes good background noise. If, you know, I want to focus on something, but I don't want silence, then it's just like, but mouth sounds are going to put me off. I'm going to, no.
Well, I'm going to try not to chew in anyone's face, because I know if it bothers me, it's probably going to bother other people, including you. So
yeah.
But, so yeah, Elon got on and immediately sent a tweet. Oh, hi.
Yeah. I thought Tommy Wiseau had the best reaction, which is what you've put in the stream title of, oh, hi, Musk.
Oh, Tommy. I'm glad they haven't gone after him. For no reason other than, you know.
But he's kind of beloved by making like the worst movie ever. You know? There's something about that. There's something about, you know, you make a really bad movie, people like it because it's so bad, you know?
When he first made The Room, he took it very, very seriously.
Oh.
To the point of like, do you remember the Nostalgia Critic way back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
He did a review or like a video on The Room, and Tommy Wiseau tried to get it taken down because it wasn't flattering.
Wow.
So he's come a long way since those days, because now he kind of embraces the meme. But originally, this was like very, very serious. He thought he'd made his masterpiece, and he did not appreciate Doug Walker shitting all over it.
It's not as bad as it's cracked up to be. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I've watched it. I was like, yeah, it's all right, whatever. You know.
See, I think it's enjoyably bad. Like, there's different types of badness. There's like just irredeemably bad, which is like
Suburban Sasquatch, yeah.
But there's like endearingly bad. Like if you look at William Shatner's music career, like all of his singing is terrible, but it's endearingly terrible. There's like something
because it's
entertaining about it.
It's Bill. Everyone loves Bill, you know?
Yeah, but like his covers of songs are not good. And I don't think he would pretend that they are. But there's a certain charm to seeing him sing a song in his typical halted delivery
Yeah.
that he's known for.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to see the disturbance that Elon buying Twitter has caused.
Yes.
It's been one of the few things lately that's just given me pure joy. I'm like, yes, you're all freaking out. This is glorious.
Well, they're so confused on what to do or what to think. Like they're just making shit up too on what it is he's gonna do, and honestly, both sides are kind of falling for that one. I'm like, that doesn't mean he has power over everything in the company, but it does mean he has more say, and it's just nice to see him fuck with them. It really is.
He's got 10%, but all the lefties control the other 90%. So, like, he can have his vote, but Vanguard, BlackRock, they're all going to massively outvote him. So it's not like he's going to make any difference. It's just like shit stirring.
We don't know what those other companies will do. Elon's a pretty powerful
my
guy.
litmus test is this: if Donald Trump gets his account back, then okay, Elon Musk made a difference.
To be honest with you, I think we see the Babylon Bee come back. Musk loves him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love the Babylon Bee to come back, but I'm saying Trump is the litmus test because the people who run Twitter absolutely despise Donald Trump. So if Donald Trump can get his account back, then I'll say yes, Elon has definitely had an influence over the company.
Oh yeah. What are the chances though?
Oh, zero. That's my point. Is I don't think he's going to do anything.
What do you think, Jen?
For Elon Musk, not right away. No, I think he's just gonna fuck with them for now. And probably even just get a feel for what the other guys are really doing, because like just being in there is gonna give him more of an insight than what everybody else has. And for all you know, he just tells you what it is that they do. But the one thing he can do is he can absolutely crash their company right now. Like if he were to just like up and be like, well, you know what? I don't need these shares anymore. And just, I know that could do a thing too. So I'm not really.
He made $1 billion just by doing this.
Yes. Yeah.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, he bought it.
The share price went up so much.
And the stock went up so much that he made $1 billion. And he could just turn around and dump it and walk away. And just made $1 billion for nothing.
I don't think he wants to do that.
No.
I think he wants to own it because he's been talking a lot about things like, does Twitter need an edit button? I mean, I don't think he's in the position to make it happen. But
the CEO said, is this something you guys really want? Because
well, I don't think the CEO is going to give us an edit. People have wanted an edit button since Twitter was first made, and the answer's always been no. I don't think it's coming. I don't think there's ever going to be one.
Well, a tweet's not going to be sent. What's going to happen is you're going to type in a tweet and hit send, and it's going to give you a period of time to go back and edit it before it actually sends it. That's the only thing you can do because you can't recall a tweet. There's no way to do that. Once it's out, it's out. You can't edit after it's out.
Facebook lets you edit. And I don't think there's any time restriction on it either. Like I could go back to a Facebook post I made 10 years ago and then edit it if I really want to. It's easy to do. I think they don't want people editing their tweets.
Well,
it might be that they might be on the same line of thinking as Jack Gunsky, where he's concerned that like news outlets will be able to stealth edit headlines, like the way that they already do, but they could do that on Twitter as well, which would like even further cover their tracks.
Oh, Icy was in chat. Icy just said, "Have a fun stream, everybody." I haven't seen Icy clear in forever. Hi, Icy. Bye, Icy.
Hi.
Icy's one of the
And,
OG.
Keep it in.
minions.
He's greatly amused that you introduced the show as the Sunday show.
Did I say this on the show?
Apparently, because all the comments in chat were like Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Oh, did
So
I say
apparently
Sunday?
you said Sunday.
Oh, all things being equal, I could take that kind of criticism. The fact that we even got a show going to begin with, I'm pretty happy with that. Meant to say the Wednesday show. It is Wednesday. I'm sorry, but Sunday.
We were talking about the Sunday show before the
stream
started. We had it on the mind.
Yeah, it's your fault. No, the reason is there's the Sunday show is going to change. I mentioned it on the last Wednesday show when we were signing off that nobody sits and listens to, but I mentioned that Sunday is going to be a little different pretty soon. But you really, Delahazed will go into that on his show about the changes that are being made, so you guys know what's going on. So you'll have to watch. Oh boy, I got burpees going on here. You guys are going to have to watch the Sunday show to get
the actual Sunday show.
The actual Sunday show, the real Sunday show. You'll actually have to watch it to get the 411 on exactly what's going on. And I'll mention it again at the end of the show like I always do. But yeah, Poppy works during the week, so she can't do weekly shows. But yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to confuse everybody that it's not Sunday, but it is on my mind because, making sure hosts are in their proper time slots and everything's happening is part of my job. So it is something on the back of my mind anyway. But have we covered everything on Mr. Musk?
I think so. I mean,
yeah. All right.
Does Jen have anything she wants to add?
Hi, Kefki.
Nope, I don't think so. Well, I think we covered it.
Hugs for Kefki.
Hi, Kefkies.
So let's move on to. I don't know if I should just call it the "Don't Say Gay" bill or what I call the "Don't Be a Pedo" bill, but it's HB or HR 1557. I can't remember what the first two letters. H something. House Bill.
Whatever
HB.
it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. But
don't groom kids. Made the law.
Yeah, the Don't Groom Kids bill. Exactly. And that's really what the bill is all about. But I saw a tweet today from somebody who appeared to be, I don't know, gay rights activist of some sort, or a member of the LGBTQ MNOP, variety. That they pointed out that the alphabet mob, yes. Who pointed out, well, this bill doesn't just say don't be gay; it also says don't be heterosexual.
It doesn't say either.
Well, I mean, it infers because it doesn't say either explicitly.
It doesn't say don't be gay or don't be straight. It says don't talk about this stuff with
don't be pedo.
Kids.
Right. But his point was that it was just as much. If you're going to call it "Don't Be Gay," it's also "Don't Be Straight." Which, if you're going to insist that it is a "Don't Be Gay" bill, then he's right in that respect that it's just as much of both.
Yeah.
If you're going to misread it, you can misread it both ways. And he's right. So my reply to him was, "Yes, you're right. That's exactly what it is. It's don't say gay, don't say heterosexual, don't say anything."
The guy I saw, the one I thought you were talking about, was like, so now you can't have Mother's Day or Father's Day at school because that implies heterosexuality.
I think it's the same guy I'm talking about because he said, well, you can't have boys and girls bathrooms. Is that the same guy?
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
And he was saying you can't talk about Christmas because I don't know if the virgin birth is gay or straight, but just to be safe, you better not talk about it.
Yeah, which is he's still completely misreading it. So
I am hoping that he's like trolling. Like when he got to the virgin birth, I was like, okay, is this guy trolling or is this guy nuts?
No, he's just.
It's gotten to the point where it's very hard to tell.
He's just stupid.
Probably, but
What do you think, Jen?
Stupid.
Hmm.
Have you read it?
The bill? Not the
Mhm.
whole thing, though. My understanding is that bill is like several pages.
7.
But I have had the gist of it read to me, and yeah, it's basically don't have private conversations with your children when you're teaching them. Also, that part where you're calling them your children, that's really fucked up because they're not your children.
No,
Yeah.
they're not.
They're under your supervision, but they're not your children.
JB's got the point here. They are willfully missing the point.
Oh yeah,
They're intentionally missing the point.
Mhm.
And
absolutely.
I just think it's because they're stupid. They are uneducated oafs who don't know
Well,
how
I think it depends. Some of them are stupid. Some of them are deliberately, like some of them are just stupid enough to believe that that's what it actually is. Some of them are deliberately misrepresenting it, and I don't think that falls under stupid. I think that's malicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this guy was very specific about how it affects the heterosexual community, and I was fine with everything he was saying, because what he was saying is this is not a don't say gay bill. When it comes right down to it, that's what he was saying. And in that response, he's correct. It isn't. So I'm fine. You know, you're wrong, but I'm fine with you being wrong in this case. You know.
Yeah. I'm constantly asking, is this guy trolling or is this guy serious? Because there's been a lot of pose or trolls who are like trying to be funny, and the problem is the other side is actually so insane that it's hard to be insane enough that it's clearly satire. Like it's just like you put them side by side and you can't pick. Like there's a reason Poe or No was a game on the corner. There's like, was this guy serious? Is he like joking? What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a bad thing to be disingenuous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it's a fun thing.
Now it's a requirement.
For Twitter. Yeah. So I
And
mean,
TikTok.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. It's even more so for TikTok, I guess, because they put their face right there and they say these things. Where Twitter, you can be somewhat anonymous.
I think it would be funny, 7-day suspension, accidental sincerity.
How dare you be correct? So yeah, I think this guy got it wrong correctly. That's weird thing to say, but that's kind of where I got at.
No, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, you see this on other posts from other people where they think that they're saying something that's in their favor, but what they're really saying is something that you agree with, but they think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So like, oh, this guy said this, and he's a Christian conservative, and he said this, and I was like, yeah, correct. And and that's kind of how I left it with this guy. It's like he's like, well, it works both ways, and I was like, yeah, it does. Congratulations. You missed it.
Don't talk about either sexuality to kids. They don't need to know about it.
You've missed a point correctly. Thank you. So, and it's signed. It's in law. I don't know if there's an effective date when it starts, but the only question I do have is, this does pertain directly to gender. What do they do to the doors of the bathrooms? Do they change it to male, female to get around that? Or, I mean, if someone really does try to pursue, you're putting genders on doors, and some crazy leftist lunatic starts a whole thing over that characterization.
That's not really talking about. That's not talking about gender. That's just indicating who's allowed in each room.
Well, that's been the argument, but what I think could be the argument going forward is, when a kid puts up his hands, they have to go to the bathroom. Which key do you give them? The key to the girls' room or the boys' room? You know, that kind of thing is, I think that's where they're going to try to poke, because they can't poke anywhere. There's
Yeah.
nowhere else to poke. That would be the only place where they could say, well, I can't tell the girl it's a girl's room, you know, because that's talking about gender in class. I'm not allowed to do that anymore, you know?
Yeah, or maybe just put penis and vagina instead of man and woman, and then like, what body part do you have? That's what room you go into.
Well, that would still be sex. Sex is still penis and vagina.
Yeah.
So it would no longer be the boys' room, it would be the male's room and the female's room. I mean, that's how they could get around it. But that's a win for us. That's not a win for them.
Yeah.
We still have segregated bathrooms. So no matter what
Or,
you do,
or
we
just
win.
have tranny only bathrooms. Like if you're a tranny, we'll just send you to the third one. We don't want to risk getting it wrong. If you reckon you're trans, go to the trans bathroom.
I hear
If
Jen
you're a
laughing.
boy, go to the boys.
Yeah.
Go to the girls.
I hear Jen laughing. Did you read Cannibalistic Wizard? Is that what you're laughing about?
No, I was listening to what Jared was saying, but I can read that. Oh,
Yeah,
what do you say?
it made me laugh. Read Cannibalistic
Change the
Wizard.
bathroom to innie or outie. Yeah.
I see was saying the same thing as me. Bananas and clams on the door instead.
Oh God, you guys kill me.
Or just, you know what? If it's going to be an issue all around, why don't they just get rid of the genders altogether? Just everybody share a fucking bathroom. You know, like it's not like office buildings didn't do that for a while. Like, you know, they had a duel for a bit. It's just you're going to be doing it with teenagers who are absolutely disgusting, and they're just going to have a lot of fights all the time. Men are going to experience what bitches do in the bathroom. Have fun with that.
Yeah. But I think Kevin hit the nail on the head with just homeschool your kids. I think that's the right answer.
Yeah, that is the right answer. But can you imagine making the bathrooms in high school non-gendered so that either one can go in there? I mean, you can put them in stalls, but again, this is a negative towards men, because now men have to stand up and pee in a toilet instead of peeing in a urinal.
But do you know the cartoon guy, I think G Prime or whatever he goes by, George Alexopoulos?
Mm-hmm.
He had a cartoon with like this, you know, trans woman's like, I finally am able to go into the women's bathroom. I've been
saw that.
Dreaming about this for years. They enter is like, take one look at how disgusting it is. They rip the wig off and go straight to the men's room.
Yeah. I hear that from time to time from people. My girlfriend has mentioned that she's gone in some bathrooms that were just horrific.
Yeah. You're questioning.
It's the first woman in who doesn't realize that the bathroom is clean and will hover.
Yes. It's sprayed everywhere.
And that means that the next person has to hover. And it just continues getting worse and worse and worse. And pretty soon it's just a nightmare. Because you have to hover.
Plus you've got all the
doing everything
related bits, like all the tampons and pads and stuff that.
Oh yeah, then there's
male bathrooms don't have to worry about.
Yeah. Terry and I, of course, are talking about this while we're eating.
Well, I've eaten the hot dog, as euphemistic as that may sound. The chips are fine. I don't need to eat those until after the stream. I can hold off on that.
I wouldn't put that together in my mind until you said it. I got it.
Well, we're talking about body parts. I thought people's minds might go there, so I might as well just acknowledge what I said.
I'm being safe. I'm having my Frosty, okay, with a spoon. I'm safe. But yeah, I mean, I can see them trying to get into a position where they're trying to nitpick stuff, and I see potential, because America is a litigious place. Yes. If we can find a way to sue somebody, we'll figure out a way. You know.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like that with just about anybody else. I don't know how bad it is in Canada, but I assume Australia, you guys are just like, well, if he says something I don't like, I'll just punch him in the face and we'll both walk away and that'll be the end of it. You do that in America, and that's that's court and all that kind of stuff. So
I do think Australia is getting more and more Americanized, for better and for worse.
Sorry to hear that.
I think there would be a rise in litigiousness. Like if you're talking like when I was a kid, then yeah, like no one would have given a shit. But I think today, I think the number of lawsuits is probably rapidly escalating. I mean, we get all our entertainment from America, so I think a lot of like the current generation has grown up not realizing that they're not in America. To be honest,
That same in Canada, Jen?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we do share a lot of actors and TV with you just because of the border. Makes it a little bit easier, but yeah, there's moments.
Is Canada becoming more litigious?
No.
No, that's good that you've managed to stay away from that, because it's really a nightmare here when you compare us to everybody else. I mean, you see people backing away from it. Like Chris Rock did not go after Will Smith, but if you watch the Jim Carrey interview, Jim Carrey was like, "Oh, he'd get it for $200 million," and he would win. What? There wasn't enough people watching. Everybody saw it. Plenty of witnesses. It's on film, 3 different angles. We saw it happen.
That was great with Chris Rock going, "Oh, I could," and then he just stopped himself because he's like,
because there aren't many comedians who could done worse. The only person I think it would have been more nasty, and he said this on an interview, Ricky Gervais would have fucking lit into him.
Oh yeah, but I think Chris was very mindful of, let's not let this descend any further. Let's try and get this back on track. It's like, yes, it would be satisfying to just absolutely lay into Will Smith, but not what I'm hired to do.
He even said that was a nice one. But isn't that what he said?
It was.
Well, he could have gone after so many other things when it comes to those two. And there's other people from Hollywood who said the same thing. Like, they had another award show like a week afterwards, and they were ripping on him for it. Like, we could have made fun of your wife for like cheating on you all the time.
I actually think that's what set Will Smith off. It wasn't the joke about the alopecia. It was Chris saying that was a nice one, implying, look, be glad I didn't go there. And I think the implication is what set him off more than the joke about his wife.
Maybe that's a good point. I don't think I've ever heard anybody make that point before. That's a good point, though. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he pointed out that was a nice one is saying, what I could have said instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's what pissed Will Smith off.
Ricky said that would have been what he went after to begin with, and I believe.
Yeah,
I believe him. Ricky would not have. Ricky went for the murder kill right away. He wouldn't even.
And Hey Camel was saying Dave Chappelle would have ended Will physically and verbally. Absolutely, Dave Chappelle would not have held back.
I don't know what would happen physically with Dave. He's a big guy.
So is Will Smith, though. He's not.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're being attacked and you're the big guy, most big guys don't retaliate, because then it's perceived that you're the big guy going after the small guy.
I get you.
Even if the small guy started it. I don't know how that would. I'm a pretty big guy. No one ever has really challenged me before. Because of that, so I've kind of enjoyed that.
I'm willing to amend it to Dave Chappelle could have ended Will physically, and he would have ended him verbally. Like if it was Dave Chappelle, he wouldn't have held back. He wouldn't have gone easy on Will because of the cucking. That would have been his like original joke. He wouldn't have bothered with the G.I. Jane thing.
Hate says Dave was a boxer. I didn't know that.
Again, I'm willing to say he could have fucked Will Smith up,
Mhm.
The question of whether he would have, again, I will take your point.
I don't think Dave would have let that go by.
Hmm.
I don't think Dave would have let it go by. I think Dave
Okay.
would have. I think Dave would have physically defended himself because I don't know. It just seems to be in his nature that he wouldn't pass up. I think you're right. I think he would have physically went right back at him, or been more prepared for it. You know, Chris Rock just kind of seemed to be like trusting Will.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he smiled and leaned in, like, "What are you going to say into my ear? What are you going to say into the microphone?" He wasn't expecting a punch coming. But I think,
And to Cannibalistic Wizard, that apology was apparently fake. That wasn't actually from Chris Rock or his team. Someone just made it up and started passing it around. So no, Chris Rock didn't actually apologize or make those hair jokes. From what I've heard, that was actually a fake apology that people were claiming he said for whatever reason. But
I read that. I read that tweet where it seemed like you apologized. I thought to myself, "Don't ever apologize." I didn't know it was
Yeah.
fake.
From what I've heard, I saw like on Twitter there was a statement from Chris Rock's people saying Chris Rock didn't write this. This is not a statement from Chris Rock. This is fake.
Hmm.
But again, it could have been someone pretending to be Chris Rock's people. So who knows?
Yeah. It's hard to believe anything on Twitter anymore.
Mhm.
But
I mean, that's basically where it's gone. Like, it used to be trash that you used to read when you were getting your groceries, and now it's just internet trash.
yeah, this used to be the Inquirer, right?
Mhm.
That's I don't know if you have that down in Land Down Under, but it's a trash magazine. Just all lies.
I only know it by reputation. Like whenever someone needs a trashing magazine to like have like a stereotypical terrible tabloid, they always go with the Inquirer.
Mhm.
I'm a little hesitant to go on to the third subject.
That's the end of the show. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, we're gonna start 2 minutes late and end 20 minutes early. Brilliant. Well, let's talk about it and see if I can whip up the courage to do what I want to do. Let's talk about Picard first. How many people in chat? Hey, Adam. How many people in chat are? Hey, Cynic. Are up on what's going on with Star Trek Picard. I know you all hate STD like me. Star Trek Discovery. They named it after a disease intentionally, in my opinion.
No, not just one disease, an entire category. of disease.
That's correct. An entire category of diseases. Star Trek Discovery. Hate that show. Haven't watched it. Just the things I've been forced to see in advertisements have made me not want to watch it. And what everyone else is telling me confirms that I don't want to watch it. But Picard, I do a stream with Blind Press, Skep, Tock, and Dr. Functional on Saturday at 5:00 Eastern, called the Star Trek stream, obviously. And we talk about,
Good name.
Yeah, it's appropriate. And we talk about these kind of things. And when we started talking about Picard, everyone was kind of against the show because it wasn't TNG. And I tried to convince the other people in the crew, look, you have to take this on its own. Don't try to read. Don't be that. Cullen is known. You guys remember Dave Cullen, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
He's Competing Forever guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he used to do Star Trek reviews, I guess you would call them. He would touch on a couple of episodes. And when he heard about STD and Picard, he immediately hated them before he even saw the first show. Just the existence of these shows was unacceptable to him.
Yeah,
and that's
he does that sometimes.
And that's kind of how things were, for a lot of people that I dealt with on a regular basis. No one gave it a chance because they couldn't let go. TNG was so good, and the original series was good. They were so good that people just couldn't see past that. They just wanted that to keep going. You know, that
I
was where
think
they.
Dave Cullen did that a lot, where like he just sort of he already decided that he didn't like something. And like I remember there was a game called Gone Home. Now I've never played it, but from what I've heard about it, it's pretty terrible. But it's like it's a walking simulator, is how it's generally described. But his way of proving that was like, I'm just going to do this cheat to unlock all the doors, and now I can finish the game in like 23 seconds. Yeah, because the game is to find the keys. Like you
missed
didn't
the whole
prove
point.
any. Yeah.
Wow. Well, he went into it hating it, and I felt like a lot of people I knew went into it hating it, not giving it a chance because it wasn't TNG. And granted, if you listen to the show's intro music, it was a little bit different, but it ended with the TNG music at the very end in the background, you know. So they're definitely pulling on nostalgia for the show. They wanted to pull in the people who are TNG people to watch the show. And I was like, well, try to look at this as, because it's much later. It's like 20 years later that this show happens in the Star Trek canon. So 20 years have passed since TNG in the show, as well as for the actors. So just watch it for what it is and take it on its own thing as just a, you know, because what you hear so often is people say, especially you hear this with comic books, don't take a character that already exists and race swap them or gender swap them.
Yeah.
Just rate a new character, right? You hear that all the time, right?
Yes.
Well, here they took Picard, who is still exactly the same guy for most parts, and they built a whole nother world around him that was completely different. Which is what you should do.
My objection is I don't like them bringing stuff back this long after the original. I think you've got like maybe a 5-year window where a sequel or something is appropriate, but after that, it's like it kind of starts feeling like we've got no ideas. Let's just resurrect something popular from the past as like a cash grab. Like I wouldn't want John Cleese to make a third season of Fawlty Towers now.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if Prunella Scales was still alive,
Right.
I would have no interest in the 2022 version of Fawlty Towers because the actors are 40 years older now.
Right.
It's like I have no interest in that.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I thought Picard deserved a chance, because it's an entirely new show. It has one character from the old days, but everything about it's the same. He's not on a starship commanding a crew. You know, he's with this ragtag bunch of people who are all bent in one way or another. There's something wrong with every one of them. And he's doing things that are completely different from what his world was like when he was a Starfleet captain, you know? And so he's got a chick who's brilliant and kills people. He's got Seven of Nine, who is different from her old Seven of Nine. He's got Captain Rios, who is a Han Solo kind of guy. He's got Rafi, who used to be in Starfleet with him. She's a new character. She's got some emotional problems. He's got a would-be son kind of deal with the Vulcan kid. I can't remember his name. So it's a much different thing than him being a captain with his first officer and his helmsman and, you know, his communications officer, and, you know, it's not that same show. It's a completely different show. And so
I would have, like, if I were a TNG fan, I would have avoided Picard because of what I said about like not liking remakes that long after the original.
Yeah, but
But I mean,
that's the point I'm making, is
it's
that it's not a
but
remake.
it's still yeah. But it would still feel like that to me. It's like, oh god, they're dragging Picard back because they Patrick Stewart wants another paycheck.
Well, here's the kicker.
But like,
Go ahead.
it could still be a good show. I'm just saying I would be biased against it too.
Yeah. Well, here's the kicker. There's a season 3. They're in the middle of season 2 right now. There's a season 3 promo that was just released, and they're bringing back all the TNG characters. Which is good and bad. I mean, from your perspective, that's bad. From my perspective, that's good, because the show has not been what TNG was. It was not successful. It's not as enjoyable. And I see this as kind of a course correction. For people who are streaming, we want TNG. We don't want this. We want TNG. For those people, all right, you want a TNG. Here you go, pal. Here's TNG all over again. That's what you want. And how many companies course correct like that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I just, I get sick of the lack of creativity where instead of making something completely new, they always have to have some link back to a previous property because they're too scared to make something original. They have to sort of milk the success of a previous thing because they know there's a built-in fan base. And I think it's just nothing new gets created if all you do is mine the past for nostalgia.
For as different as Discovery is, it's still called Star Trek Discovery. They're still using the term. So they're still milking the franchise. Right. It's a completely different show. It doesn't have any of the characters and anything, it's a different time period. It's completely opposite of everything in the Star Trek. But it just happens to have the word Star Trek in it.
Yeah.
But that's still
because they know that people will watch it just for having the 2 words in the title.
Right. So what I've been delaying to do is there's a new version, a new reboot of the franchise. It's called Strange New Worlds. And we're going back to episodic TV again. In other words, one show, one story.
Okay.
Since Star Trek Enterprise was on the air, Star Trek Enterprise had a season-long arc. Discovery has season-long arcs. Picard has had season-long arcs. And people who are Trek fans have said, look, TUS was never a season-long arc. Neither was TNG. They were all episodic.
But I do think you can combine the two. Like, back when Buffy was around, there was an overall arc to the entire season, but you could still watch any individual episode and it was its own self-contained story. Like, there would be, like, the standard plot structure for an individual episode. It's just that it also had parts to it that built up the season arc. So, I mean, you can combine the two. They don't have to be completely separate.
Yeah, I want to address something Assassin said in the chat. He says the world the Picard series is set in makes no sense based on the history established. The Federation does not act like itself. And that's true. The Federation does not act like the Federation of TNG. That's absolutely true. And that's why I say you must take this on its own merits. The Federation has been corrupted. There are Romulans serving who have infiltrated the Federation and are serving in the Federation, doing nasty things, and they've made the Federation a nasty place. I don't know if that's going to change. They could certainly change it, but you're right that it does not make any sense as far as the TNG days, the Voyager days, the DS9 days. But 20 years have changed, and look how the United States has changed in 20 years. The 90s were pretty cool, all things being considered. Now you look at 2022 and people are at each other's throats for racism and shit like that. It's like, we used to be much better than this. And that kind of applies to Star Trek. They used to be much better than this. as far as the Federation and how they ran things and what they did and how they thought. So it's possible that in 20 years, the Federation can be corrupted to the point where they are now. We don't get to see that process. We do know that the Romulans get wiped out, and maybe that has something to do with it. So, but the new show, Strange New Worlds, as I understand it, I haven't heard, you know, absolutely one way or the other, but Strange New Worlds is supposedly episodic, like the old TOS and TNG days were. And a lot of people have been asking for that. So there is that option. Anyway, I'm talking a lot, but I'm not saying anything.
You're saying tons.
Well, the deal here is that I have the promo for the show. It starts in May, and I have the promo on a video that I'm going to play. Before I do that, I don't know how many people are Star Trek fans, but forgive me for my passion here. But I'm going to put up on the screen our fair use notice and disclaimer, and I'm going to read it, just in the hopes that Paramount does not come after me and come after the channel and give us 7 days off again, because that sucked, and I don't want that to happen again. So
I think it'll be more than 7 days, because the 7-day one is like the first warning. I think it'd be a month if you
well, we got a
got
warning.
another breach within.
Yeah, well, we do have a backup channel, but we got a warning, and then we got a strike. The strike was 7 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the second one is longer.
I thought the second one was longer if the first one was still in effect.
Could be.
Let me read the fair use notice and disclaimer. You guys can zone out for a minute while I do this. This video stream is intended for adults only. It may contain copyrighted material, the use of which has not been specifically authorized by the copyright owner. We are making such material available for the purposes of criticism, comment, review, and news reporting, which constitutes the fair use of any such copyrighted material as provided for in Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Law. Notwithstanding the provisions of Sections 106 and 106A, the fair use of a copyrighted work for purposes as criticism, comment, review, and news reporting is not an infringement of copyright. So I had to officially read that. So I'm going to switch over to the video. Oh, shared the wrong screen. Let me go back. Share screen with audio. This screen, share. Okay, let's see if I can get the menu up right this time. That's kind of close. A little bit different. Let me fix this. Oops, wrong button. I don't think that's quite right, but we'll see. We go ahead and play it. There will be pauses in here where I hacked this video apart in the hopes that it doesn't turn out to be an issue with us. So we'll see if and I'll be pausing it in the middle to talk through it to try to keep us from getting in trouble.
Hi.
Okay, first thing. Hi. Hi? Does that sound like Captain Picard, Captain Kirk, any captain you ever heard before?
Should have been G'day. You need an Australian captain.
You need an Aussie in there, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can center this up a little bit. I'm fixing it in OBS real quick. Try to get the best possible. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see this and hear this. So, yeah, not a good start as far as writing a confident captain-y dialogue.
Sorry to interrupt.
This shot was stolen from a fan film called Prelude to Axanar, where a starship is in orbit, but close to the planet. This is the shot from Axanar. I know. They're stealing from fanfic. Crazy.
This is your captain?
Discount Spock. That's the J.J. Abrams version of what warp drive is supposed to look like.
To chart the stars. Push the boundaries of what is known.
Beaming down now takes less than a second. That's new. Every Star Trek, it takes 3-4 seconds for someone to beam down to a planet. This one, zoom, they're there. Just like that. No problem.
And what is possible?
I'm standing on the surface of a comet.
I love this job.
I bet you do.
I bet you do. With her as your first officer. Does that look like Tulsi Gabbard to you? I think you take Tulsi Gabbard and Lauren Chen and mix them together. You come up with that person. And I think she's like Latina, which is the funniest part. But look at that uniform. What is that uniform pointing at? Am I the only person to notice that? It's like, he's not wearing that uniform. Why is she wearing that uniform that has points that point to a certain part of their body? Maybe it's just me.
To make sure you look there.
Yeah, I guess. Moving on. Nice Enterprise.
These people. This.
That is sickbay. If you've ever watched Star Trek before, sickbay was 1/10 the size of that sickbay. That has 2 stories to it. It's huge. Whatever. That didn't make any sense to me. Sickbay would be that big. It's like a hospital. It's not a sick bay.
Maybe there's a lot of sick people because it was made in the age of Corona.
I believe we can do anything.
This is only a quick shot, but this looks to me like the original Spock and Kirk fight from Amok Time in the original series. I don't know if you remember that series, but that's where you get the music from that you hear whenever there's a fight scene from Star Trek. This is where it started at in Amok Time. That's where that music came from, this fight scene. It was written for this fight scene. And here we are, apparently back on Vulcan with the On Moon, the weapons that you're seeing there, in another fight, just like in the original series. I don't know. I think they're stealing too much from the original series here.
Well, they are. It's like, did they lose somebody important or something?
I don't understand why this would be in this show. But anyway, let's move on.
You want to seek out new life. Go where the aliens are.
I will say this, the special effects that we're seeing here, this is a TV show. The special effects that we're seeing here are fantastic. I got the 4K version of this on my screen, and it is glorious. The special effects are just, wow. They're like movie quality stunning. I'm really impressed.
Presence is blasphemy.
Let's talk about this. Find some
Let's talk about this.
I think that went well.
Can't we all be friends?
Look about from.
Perhaps we should kiss.
That seems logical.
Yeah, I really don't need to see the captain's bedroom scenes. They do it. This trailer has it in here twice. So you can only imagine how often it's going to be in the actual show. If it's in the trailer twice, that's the first time.
Maybe we don't touch anything else. Just a suggestion.
The whole future hangs in the balance.
Yeah. This is something I note. I'm going to mention it again. The camera work that they do in this is like I keep saying to everybody, this is a TV show. This is not a major film. Motion picture. It's not either. This is just a TV show. Look how great the camera angles are. It's pretty stunning. So here I am talking about all the bad things and all the good things I'm seeing just from the trailer.
No one can know the future. One can only follow one's instincts.
You're the best of Starfleet.
That look like Hawkeye to you? I'm just saying. I mean, not the face, but the whole outfit with the bow and all that kind of stuff. Didn't that? I mean, maybe it just hit me because I'm an Avengers fan, but that just kind of like screamed Hawkeye at me. I don't know why.
Ability to work together. That's our
There's the crew. You got Spock and Kirk, who are backwards. It should be Kirk in front. Spock's the first officer. And I guess that's Bones behind him. And then Uhura behind him. A little typecasting there, but whatever.
greatest strength.
This is beautiful. Watch
Let's show
this.
them what you got.
Look at that. Yeah, I actually stopped and made a point. More amazing cam work. And what's innovative here is you've never seen the Enterprise do this before. You might have seen it in other shows like DS9. You'll see their little tiny ship do all these maneuvers and that kind of stuff, but you never see a ship this big do that kind of work. So that caught my eye. It's almost over. A couple more seconds here. Oh yeah, that's the ending. Kind of the fanfare at the end. Stop screen sharing. Nope. What am I doing? There we go.
It's, everything I know about Star Trek, I learned from a very educational song that told me there's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jin.
So.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm very 6 of one, half a dozen of the other when it comes to this. I see a lot of bad writing and a lot of great special effects, but some good stories and some bad stories. You know, just going over the trailer, and you and I mean, everybody knows that a trailer doesn't really define the entire series. It's just supposed to give you a little taste. But I'm a little concerned about some of the things I'm tasting here. That didn't sound good. That's not what I meant. The point being is that there's a lot of things in here that bother me, but there are a lot of things in here. It's one of those things. Do you do the same thing that I did with Picard and say, well, let's give it a chance? Or do you immediately write it off and say, oh, no. I see stuff in here that, you know, that's definitely progressive bullshit. And, you know, they're painting the captain as inept, blah, 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 and read a lot into it. Or is it just what ended up being filmed and they put into a trailer? Is it ever going to actually show up in the show? We have to wait until May.
I mean, some of it did seem a little bit questionable, but that for me, it wasn't so hyped up. Like, I mean, it wasn't the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I could still see it being enjoyable. It's not at all like how I felt about Picard. And even with Picard, like, I didn't watch it. Like, here's the thing. I only really have other people's stuff to go by, but it was just that whole feeling that they were kind of going communist with it. I didn't want to see it. Even if it was just a rumor, I didn't want to see that. Just because the original Picard was not a communist. He was not.
Right.
And I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that in a Star Trek thing. You know, like, leave our form of politics out of it. It's an alien world. Make something new.
In the interest of keeping on Susan's good side, he should have been a communist. That was a failing of Captain Picard that he wasn't. Okay, we should be good.
All right. There we go.
We got Susan's blessings. Excuse me. Well, you'll hear the left and the progressives and the communists say that the Federation during Picard was a communist. I don't know if I want to say it that way, but it had communist overtones. Good.
I have heard of it referred to as space communism.
Right. And it's kind of a, if you're saying that, then you don't really understand communism. What they've done is they've eradicated the need for money. Doesn't mean they don't use money in Picard. They obviously do. There is such a term as gold plus platinum. There are credits. Money still exists. Capitalism still exists. But the point Picard made, and he made it a couple times, but he says it once specifically in the I can't remember what the name of the movie is. he said it specifically. He says, money is no longer the driving goal. Our goal is to better ourselves. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just not their driving goal.
Right.
And so it seems like the people who see communism in the Federation forget that phrase. He specifically addresses it. And I mean, if you've watched DS9, you know the Ferengi are all about money. And if
And
you
that's
want some,
exactly, yeah.
yeah, if you want
Finish.
something done, you have to pay them. It still exists in the future. Money still exists. It's just not what people aren't worried about accumulating wealth anymore. We've solved hunger. We've solved the need for things. You know, what were you going to say, John?
But that's basically it. Like, they have something else. Like, our problems here, I don't want to see them in my entertainment all the time. You know, like sometimes it makes sense because it's relevant to a story. But Star Trek is an alien world. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'd like Star Wars to be about Star Wars. Like, I get that they're going to have politics there because, yeah, the books had they had politics in it. But I don't want arms.
The YouTuber V, he says it's very deliberate that you can't escape the politics because he was saying that one of the things that they found, like under communism in Romania, is what they would do is, like, the problem they were having is that all the people they wanted to be revolutionaries would unwind after a stressful day. So in order to prevent that and to keep them fired up and, you know, wanting to like do something, is they injected politics into everything, so there was no escape. So you were constantly feeling that pressure so that they could turn more people into revolutionaries. I think it's no accident that woke politics has seeped into every aspect of life. They're very much doing it on purpose.
And it's why I don't watch a lot of stuff anymore. I feel bad though. Like I would be more willing to give that one a shot, just at least because you were willing to, Hammer. But I won't shower a franchise with my money if they're pushing for communism. I don't like it any more than I like fascism. I don't like Nazism either. I think all of them are bad. So when they're promoting that stuff, and I know it's for shit like what Terry just said, I'm like, you know, I can't always do anything about the people I vote for, but I can vote with my dollars. You know, I still haven't figured out a way to get everyone en masse in my country to just not pay their taxes so we could go on strike for the first time ever.
That'd be awesome.
You know, for some reason, everyone's like, I'm afraid of doing that, Jen. I'm like, I don't know. But
I'm going to make the recommendation to you that I make to everybody when it comes to this kind of stuff is don't listen to what the progressive and left say about something like this. Assassin makes a good point in chat. Post-scarcity civilization does not mean communism. And that's what they try to equate it with. Star Trek is not communist. It's not. It's post-scarcity, but it's not communist. So don't let them define for you what could or could not be a good program. It really is. I understand that STD is awful. It's across the board. Everyone hates it. It really is. I can't by any means understand how it's gotten as far as it has. It was in the third or fourth season now. It's like ridiculous that it's still on the air. It's so terrible. But just because TNG or just because STD was awful, you got to kind of look at Picard as being its own thing. Yes, because you know I read Once Bitten Twice Shy in chat from Assassin. Once Bitten, you have to be willing to give somebody a second chance, and really watching Picard, it's done nothing but gotten better since the beginning, and to the point that TNG was kind of all over the place as far as its writing. That's very true because every show is pretty much written by somebody else. So, for as much as the editors try to corral it into a consistent theme, one person writing the show is going to see things different from somebody else writing the show. And there are certainly things that they make canon that they break later. And you try to minimize that, but sometimes a plot requires something to be a little funky. But yeah, don't let the people telling you that it's communism sway you from making your own decision on it. So if you get a chance to watch some of the shows,
Well, that's how I cheat, though, Hammer. You see, I wait until somebody else watches it first.
let them tell you.
Yeah, basically. That way I save a little bit of money. You know, I don't have a lot of money as it is, so I like to take my time and do my own research because I don't trust reviewers either.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's also just a matter of opinion.
As far as I know, it's not illegal to watch a show together on Discord. I've never gotten a firm answer on that because I know people do it. I haven't ever heard anybody getting bounced for doing it. So I don't know if it's legal or not, but I have.
Well, I will say Frosted got his DLive account suspended for a few days because he was streaming MST3K.
Yeah, you don't want to do any of the big. You don't want to do YouTube or Rumble or DLive or any of those things, but Discord seems to be different.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's the same activity. We were watching the same show at the same time, and I would have thought that anything covered by MST would have been public domain. I thought that was kind of what they focused on, was like stuff that they didn't need to pay for the rights to. But even so, he lost his account for like 3 days. So
yeah, you can't.
It's definitely a gray area.
Yeah, you definitely can't do it to YouTube. You can't do it on Facebook. None of the big things, but those are video streaming platforms. Discord's supposed to be more of a chat deal that allows you to do video as well. And it's not available to the entire world. Only people that can get on your server, and then people that you specifically tell you're going to do. So I'm not sure. You don't post it for the whole world to see. So I know people who are doing it. I'm not going to say those people are, but I know people who do it. And I have never heard anybody getting swatted for doing it. You know, that kind of deal. So if you guys ever want to watch something, assuming that it's legal, I don't know for sure, but assuming that it's legal, if I have it, I'd be happy to watch it with you. So if you wanted to watch a specific episode, or you want to watch a season, or you missed a show or something like that, you could always give me a ring, and we could see if we can find a lawful way for you to sit in my living room from remote and watch a show with me. Assuming it's legal. I have to say assuming it's legal because I don't know if it is or not, and I don't want to get in trouble with Susan or anyone else. But until someone tells me you can't do this, then I'm going to assume it's okay because everyone else seems to be doing it and no one's getting hurt.
Right.
So that's where I am on that. So are we done for tonight? We have anything else you want to go through?
I want to point out to our viewers that Hammer did a really nice job of fixing up our bubbles, so we had our flags.
Oh yeah, I don't know if anybody in chat caught that, but the whole design of the show is to be an international crew. So to try to add to that flavor a bit, I have an American flag behind my chat bubbles. Terry has his Australian flag behind his, including as much of the Union Jack as I could get in there. And Jen has the Canadian flag, as much of the maple leaf I could get in there, to try to add a little bit to the show. So that's something different tonight. Nobody said anything, so I'm not sure if anyone noticed.
They were too busy laughing at you for saying it was Sunday.
Yeah, well, it is Sunday, isn't it? Right. It's not Sunday. Anyway.
No.
But let's go ahead and get out of here. Unless you guys have anything else. No? Yes, no?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Nope.
All right, we'll go ahead and get out of here then. Thanks to chat. You should say goodnight real quick, Chan.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you're looking for more of the zoo, our Discord is linked in the description down below. And we're live every evening with most shows starting 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Quiz on Monday, Skep on Tuesday. Of course, the Wednesday show starting at 9. Johnny Hellcat, Sanguine, Harry Channel, and so far, Delahazed, 11:30 on Sundays. Sundays is going to change, folks. It's coming up. Keep your eyes and ears glued to the Minions to get more details as time goes by. In any case, we'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys again next week. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Good night, guys.